Let's go.
Let's go. Good morning, everybody. It's so great to be here with you. As you may know, I'm Patricia Dugan, and I am coming to you live from San Francisco, California. It's 9 a.m. here. And today is a really fun day. Oh, by the way, Patricia is my name. This is my Twitter handle, Patricia Dugan, and then go to Traefik for all the good news and hashtag Traefik. So today is exciting, but let me start with some of the little goodies that come to you with the Traefik Online Meetup. First, a little about me. You know my name. I am the head of community for Traefik and Containers, and my job is to make sure that our developers and our users and basically all humans in the universe get to know about Traefik, Mesh, Yagi, all of the tools we create in this wonderful company, and so that you can know why they're valuable, why you should choose us. And then I create things for our engineering pool so that we can help educate each other to make our lives easier by using our amazing software, this amazing software. So Traefik online meetups, what these are is, these are places companies and developers present how they're using Traefik or perhaps sometimes Mesh or other software to solve interesting technical challenges. And with that, there are a couple things coming up. Today we have Sylvain Combraque from Les Tilleuls Coop, and I've been very excited just how bad my French is. So I think you can pronounce it a little bit better, but he's going to talk to us today about Docker Swarm, how they're using microservices to manage all of microservices and using Traefik to manage their services and keep things going fast and error-free. Coming up soon, we have the V2 meetup, which is going to be super dope. This is going to be with our V2 developer team from Traefik. And we're going to talk about questions that have been derived directly from our community. So it's super cool. It's 100% community-driven meetup. I have this list of questions that you've sent us all about V2 and what our plans are and how to do things. And so we want to make your life easier. So join us for that. I will leave the link in the chat box. And then finally, in December, we have Katie Gamanji from Condé Nast. And this is going to be super dope. I mean, she is a rising star. As if you don't know, look her up, Katie Gamanji from Condé Nast. We're going to talk about Ingress, how they're using Ingress at Condé Nast. And Condé Nast is a huge company. Look them up. You know, they're a big deal. And so that's December 12th, and I'll share that link in the chat box also. And then one last thing I really want to talk to you about is KubeCon in San Diego next month. I don't know how many of you will be with us there, but we will be there, and we want to meet you. I want to meet you. We'd like to talk about how you're using Traefik. We have limited edition special t-shirts that you're going to want to get. So ping me on Twitter or email me or ping me in the chat box if you want to set up time to meet or come by our booth. So what else do I need to tell you about? I think that's it. And so with that, we get to go into the show. And so the way this works is Sylvain is going to present to us in his glorious French accent how they are using Docker Swarm and Traefik to make their lives easier. Now, we want your questions, and we're going to answer your questions at the end of the session. But I would ask you, please, to enter your questions into the chat box. I will collect them, and then at the end of our show, we're going to ask Sylvain all of these questions, and we're going to talk about it and answer them for you. So if you have to go early, I will be posting this to YouTube in the next couple of days, so subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will also email it to all of our registrants. So again, as head of community, I am here for you, and please utilize us to help make your lives easier using Traefik. So thank you for your time. And now we go to Sylvain, and take it away, Sylvain. It is your turn.
Oh, hello, everybody. So let me share my screen. So today we are talking about Traefik integration in API Platform framework and using API Platform services. So let me introduce myself. My name is Sylvain Combraque. I'm a French developer at Les Tilleuls Coop. So sorry for my French accent. We are based to Paris and Lille, some French cities. I'm an API platform contributor, Traefik maintainer in API platform, and I'm a Traefik helper. You can find me on GitHub and Twitter, searching my handles. So our company, all these salaries are owning this this company. We are more than 40 today, and we are hiring more people. We are working on many cool languages like PHP or Go, and we are working on technologies like Docker and API Platform and Symfony. For example, we are using Kubernetes too. And let's talk about this subject, Traefik. It's a project instantiated by Emil Vosges. It's written in Go and it works very fine with Docker. And we will see it's easy to use. So Docker is a lightweight virtual machine. It's written in Go too. So that's why it works very well with Traefik. We will use the Docker Compose layout. You can manage multiple containers in only one file, and it's better than using only commands. So here is a schema about Traefik. Your DNS are cached by Traefik and dispatched to respective service. Like api.domain.com would be redirected to API server service. Since Traefik version 2, Traefik can handle multiple providers like Kubernetes and Docker Swarm instances at the same time. It will auto-discover the services in any providers. It will listen different APIs, and you have to do nothing about that. So API Platform is a framework built on top of Symfony for the API part. The API part will be your pivot point on your application, and it will let you build your own front in ReactJS, Vue.js, or Angular, for example. But it can be batch CLI to consume the API part. And it supports Docker Compose natively. So here is an example of of the client of the API Platform instance. For those who didn't know, the YAML syntax is a key value. The indentation is very strict. So you can define a build informations with context containing the different files to inject in your container. You can define cache to avoid the rebuild at any time. You define an image which will be fetched by Docker. Your environment are set here, but you can define your environment in a .env file. You can map some volumes like virtual machine. You can map some folders which are shared, and some ports are redirect to the service and to running service in your service port. on my GitHub public repository, including API Platform 2.5.0, which is the last version of API Platform, and you have the steps about this workshop. So you can follow, just follow what I say. So let's start. Let's start coding. I just edit the API platform plain stack. The admin Docker file is edited, and I add the expose port. Same for the client because there are React app running in this port, and we want to share this port to the to I edited the API.env to allow any trusted host and any core solo origin. I will zoom a little bit. Then here is the plain declaration of API platform instance. We have a PHP service, an API service, which will be our pivot point, a database, Mercure, which is a new protocol developed by Kevin Douglas. You have the client and admin services and an H2 proxy supporting the push notification for Mercure. So just do a Docker Compose up, then it will create the client admin container, start the applications in these containers. As you can see, for client, for example, the published port is the HE port, and the target is 3000. So localhost will point to the client service on port 3000, and to be more precise, it will point to the React create app running on this service. So my containers are getting up. The client and admin are a little bit long to start because React app is very long to run. And if you have this error, Docker Compose up. So if you have that, just do Docker Compose down to kill the containers which are in conflict with others. So now it should be okay. So the database and Mercure are up, the PHP true. We are waiting API, admin, and client.
Hi, okay. I'm just going to interrupt one quick second because the internet connection is not very good. And I don't know that there's anything we can do about it, but Sylvain, I want to make sure you know that our audience is mentioning that it's not very good. So
yeah. So sorry for this connection, but I hope the replay will be okay. A little lag.
It might be, Sylvain, perhaps you want to stop your video and just do the demo and see if that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it will be good. So where is it? So okay. So you can't see me now. If I do Docker Compose PS, the containers are up. And if I go on Safari, I type localhost and localhost 8080. I will have my applications. It's a little bit long. So we have our admin part, which is up, and the client is starting. While our client starting, we can just include Traefik. So define a Traefik key or any other key you want. Just pull the Traefik image with 2.0. We will define some commands. API point insecure will enable the web UI, and we want to listen the Docker provider. Like we want to listen the Docker provider, we will map the volumes. So map the Docker sock volume to the same path. And at the moment, I think no, I've forgotten the ports. And I'll map the port 80 to 80, same for HTTPS. And the web UI will be on 8080. So if I do that, I will have an error because my H2 proxy, for example, use the HTTPS port. So I can just do Docker compose down to, Docker down. I'm lagging a little bit. To stop the current running containers, and I will be able to stop H2 proxy and remove it from my Docker compose declaration. And I will have some troubles with my API because it is running through the allocated port, and we'll use some labels handled by Traefik with traefik.http.routers.your service name. So here it will be API and rule, and define a host. The backticks are important, or replace them by double quotes, for example, because handled by we want to map our API to api.domain.com. If you haven't registered domain.com in your etc host file, for example, you can just put API under localhost, and it will be mapped to your own laptop. So our database don't have to be mapped. Here, Mercure, we have to change the key and the subdomain. And for client, sorry, we will map the labels. I can do that. No. Up. Can copy. file for admin and client to use the service load balancer port definition. So we just have to map to command service, and the service will expose only one port and will be cached by Traefik. It's admin, and here we'll use plain domain. I think it's okay. For example, okay. I will remove our France container. Okay. If I go domain.com with the 8080 port, I can see my domains here. And my client and my admin are starting, so we cannot view them in Traefik web UI, but at the moment they will be up. We will see them. So we can go through api.domain.com, and I have an error because it's not in it's not running PHP for now, but it's a little bit wild. Okay, just rerun the Docker Compose up. Oh, I have no such container error again or not. Moving orphans, and I will restart them. So if I run the web UI, normally I should see my containers up, and I will debug the PHP part. I hope client and admin won't crash again, or won't take many time to start. It seems to be okay. The configuration. Okay, admin and client are taking too long to start. I'm getting PHP in another window. I will zoom for you. Just go in workshop, introduction, and just see logs for PHP. Okay, it seems to be ready for handle the connections. So I've got my API. Here is localhost. My slide can be closed, and my services are getting up, but already have this bug for setting up the client. Hope the client will start without any problem. I will separate the separately. And now I've got my domain and admin here. So if I go through just domain.com, my client will be up in a couple of seconds. If I show them in Docker Compose PFs, I see them. And if domain.com want to be loaded, I will be able to see them. So we can load admin2. And okay. So during this loading, we can do some refactor, and we can change the folder location and use the factorization part 1, which will take the investment and start the same containers. So I can see the client part in domain.com and admin if you want to be loaded, but it seems not. Okay, I think you can see the functionalities of Traefik. It's just a React app on admin part. It takes too long minutes to be up. Oh, okay. It's you've got an error here because on your admin and client.env you have an environment variable which will ping localhost on this port, but anymore. So in the part 1, I will treat this case. So in introduction, I can stop the containers. Okay, stopping is a little bit quick instead of start containers. So I can go through factorization part 1 and just start containers here. But if I do that, I will be in the same how can I say, in the same situation, and I won't be able to ping the API on the admin part, and I will get an error. So here I on the variable, and it just says use api.domain.com as API URL, and I put the same on the client environment variables declaration. You can see on host I declared some different hosts because Traefik can handle different host declaration. And here we will just do some refactorization and some groups of common datas. As you can see, our context and other variables are using the relative location of API Platform 2.5.0. We can put it in part 1. So I've got my my environment variables. We will define a domain name to group the domain name declaration, folder location, which will refer to relative path to API Platform instance, a subdomains list. It will be used by the Symfony app and API to enable the trusted host and the allow the host. You have the app-env declaration to define if you are in development or in production. The HTTP or SSL is useful because you can define if you have a certificate to under HTTPS and allowing only HTTPS requests. You define a database name, a database user, and database path, which are common data for database service, for example, and the PHP part will need these infos to connect to the database. So just let's start. We'll start with PHP service, go through API in .env file, and just pick trusted host, and just define environment, set trusted host here, and we will define. So we have our HTTP or SSL for HTTP or HTTPS only. The subdomain list, which will contain admin or Mercure, for example. It will be optional, and we want a point here if it's defined. And our domain name. So we've done for trusted host. Pick the database URL. You can let these environment variables in these files because they are overwritten by this environment variables defined in Docker Compose. So in objects, the dollar symbol should be typed twice to escape the dollar and tell Docker to not interpret this character as variable. So define a database URL. Here it will be database user. Here we will define a database path and a database name. These informations can be used here for database service, and do the same, define a name for the database, a path, and a user. Okay, and allow course for the Symfony app, and it's the same for that. It's the same declaration. So you can group these informations, but I prefer to separate them because sometimes the trusted hosts are different from course sometimes, like I said. And the others don't have to be referred. Oh, see, we have to define our app-env variable and use app-env environment variable. And I think it's okay for that. And we have to define our folder location for each API API Platform instance location and replaced by the environment variable. With that, you have more than half of your application, which can be scaled by time. So here we are using domain name for domain.com for each on placement. Just define a domain name and do a search and replace. Okay. And okay, I don't have any occurrence of that. And now, if I try to up, oh, it's not a valid URL because the build path isn't allowed. What's this? Okay, in the API. Oh, I've forgotten the folder location declaration here, and now it should work like a sharp. Okay, Traefik will be up. I'm just checking I'm not missing some values or some replacement. Okay, so here I'm exposing database, but you are not you shouldn't expose your database in a production. Here it's done because in development you could link your database to your PHP Storm or any other IDE. So it's a little bit more comfortable to see the real database representation in your IDE. So it takes too long for client and admin again. So just for admin. Okay. Okay, it was just admin. So if I just mark Docker Compose PS, all my containers are up. If I go on Traefik web UI, I've got my domain.com and 3w-domain.com up for my client. Same for database, Mercure, and other services, which will include the Traefik labels. And now it will take some time, but if I try to log the admin container running instance, okay, it's starting the development server, and I should be able to see the administration part, I hope. So it's starting. That's the problem with React App. It's very fast when it's launched, but it takes too long to start the application. So when you want admin, that's the domain.com is working. If I put 3w-domain.com is working too, and we are waiting again for admin.domain.com. So when you want, we are waiting for you, admin. Just pray to in chat for admin starting. And now we have an error. Why? Why do I have an error? What is it going to ping? So the course aren't good. Seems to be not good. Because I shouldn't escape one of them, so I can remove. So point will include any characters, and if I do Docker compose up and remove orphans, I should be able to see to see it, and I should be able to ping from admin.domain.com. No, why? I will handle on PHP. Okay. Why am I getting kicked by course? PHP exec on PHP. Cache clear. It will warm up the cache, and I think I will restart the container, or maybe I'm just trying to make a thing that's not allowed by declaration of trusted host or cursor origin. If I try to stop PHP and API and Docker compose up with the flag and remove orphans. It's starting. Okay, I've got an error bad gateway because it is starting. If I get logs, okay, it's warm up. It is warm upping the cache, and now it seems to be okay to handle. So, I've got another trusted host because it seems to be here and escape the point, and here leave the point like this. Seems to be the trick. Okay, just up the containers again, and it should be okay. Okay, but gateway again because PHP is starting. So for next steps, I will go more quickly to be to cover all this workshop, and because the last part will be the more important because it's about security. So why my host is getting down? Okay, I will just for okay, I will just get trusted host and cursor origin. Then if you have some troubles and don't want to debug anymore, just put point and plus and it will be okay. So okay. Oh yeah, I put the HTTP or SSL, which doesn't appear in trusted host. So like that. Interpolation for environment. Up on, okay, and now it should be okay. So don't trash me on the chat. I'm sorry for this mistake. So API is starting again. I will on the logs. Okay, waiting for GB, and the GB should be up. I should be access to the API. Okay, and I should be able to access the admin part. So yeah, I've got the admin part. It's working because I've got no error. I've got an object, and here I can send hello Traefik. I save it, and I should be able to see it in the list. So it works. So now after this factorization, we can handle the domain name, the subdomains list allowed to trusted host and core solo origin. So you can kick out the other services which are not in this list, or which are not on this domain name. We can handle database name 2, database path 2, and user, of course. But if you want to change this, you have to build again the database service, and you'll be okay. So let's go on multiple instance. So you have the solution in factorization part 2. I won't live code this because it's a little bit tricky, and it's more copy paste instead of live coding. So I define React env here because it's the same for admin and for client. So I will zoom for people cannot see. I will reduce that. So okay, I define React env key, and like as you can see, define Mercure dash first to symbolize the directory name, because it's located in factorization part 2 and in the first directory, and I've got the same for second directory. Why I have to do that? Because Traefik doesn't handle multiple instances, and if you have good eyes, you can see I haven't got Traefik instance anymore in my Docker Compose containing API Platform instance, because it's located now in external folder. It's the same Docker Compose containing just Traefik service, and I map located here. No, not here. because I don't refer them at the moment, and we just have to do to declare networks key. So I will call it networks and network and I just have to define the key. So iterate networks, and it's an array. And here I'm in first directory, so this can be closed. These two, and okay. And in external, I've got my API platform multiple 1 to symbolize the first directory. So I refer it here. I don't forget to register my key here. So it networks. And for all my services, which are exposed, and more precisely for all services in the Docker Compose declaration and Docker Compose file, because doing that, all services will be on the same network and can be able to communicate through subnetwork on your laptop, and they won't be able to see other containers in other networks. So Traefik will redirect the traffic to a specific network containing the service instance. And here you have to register your network name. So it's the same like here, and define it as external to because they can be fetched by Traefik, and it's more easy to manage it. So do the same thing for the second, but that's not 1 but 2. Here I can copy and paste network key for all these services. Up. And I just have to key declaration here and say this is API platform multiple 2. So here I can kill containers down. I'm removing orphans because sometimes I've got some cache from services, and that's the only way I found to avoid cache retrievation. So let's go on factorization part 2. In the first directory, then I declared API-second for defining second directory. First, and just do Docker Compose up. Okay, that's not the good path for API platform because it's 1 folder up. And now it should be okay for creating that. And after that, don't forget to up the Traefik instance in external directory, because it will handle the services through network referred in this Docker Compose declaration. So client and admin will take some time to start, I will start Traefik through this terminal. I go through external and Docker Compose up. And it takes many seconds to start. Okay. And admin and client aren't up yet. So if I go here, I've got my Traefik running. And to run multiple instances and on different name server. So you can just put domain2.com and it will run the services of the second directory, for example, on the domain2 DNS. So if you have to build some services on different DNS and using the same routers or anything else, you just have to separate the routers here. Yeah, and it will be okay to manage them. So I can Docker Compose up, but it works. So I will be a little bit quick. So we have to manage scaling.
Sylvain, just real quick, I don't think you have to rush. I think everyone here is probably happy to stay. We just want to be transparent that we understand there's only a few minutes left in the show, but we're going to carry on. He'll finish the demo and then we have a couple of questions to answer, but no big deal.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the scaling part. So close down the containers. I will let you to place multiple instances. So in the first and scaling, I will define who am I service using image, and I've got, so here I've got the already working Docker Compose in security, and just do okay, it's done. So I can go on security and start containers. Okay, it should start. It's removing because I've already run scaling declaration, so they were already loaded. So if your containers are up, you can just see them like that. And you want to scale, just type Docker Compose scale the scale flag and define your services you want to scale. Who am I, for example? So here I've got an externalized Traefik, like I show you. And if I try to curl, I think I've already it. Okay, I try to curl on who am I. Okay, I want to see the IP. Okay, so here is the IP, and it switched between 11, 10, and 7 because I've got 3 instances of who am I. So then the final containing the Docker Compose with Traefik instance and fail to ban instance. Fail to ban will handle the error not found page and not found services, and will ban the users are trying to scrap your website. And in data, you've got some defined. You've got the DB and API host.conf, and for each 400 errors on the API service, the fail to ban will ban the IP of the hacker, and I put a max try to 10, so hacker will try 10 times and will be banned from the server. Here's a trick. I put the network mode to host because fail to ban should have right to write to the owner laptop or owner machine in IP tables. I put fail2ban.on. I declare a Docker file for fail2ban from scratch, and okay, a make file to start fail2ban instance fast and set up the Traefik containing that, and I externalize my services declaration using the same thing like networks. So I think it should be okay. I'm 2 minutes up than the allowed time, but it was a little bit short to explain all of that. So
yeah, Sylvain, I have come on camera. Do you want to cover? There are 2 questions. Is it time to cover questions or?
yeah, I have time for question.
Okay, great. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone. I'm sorry we're running a little bit over, but we are doing our best. So there are 2 questions. Let's start with what are some things that you want people to know about moving to Traefik 2.0? Like any challenges? What's the most difficult thing you experienced moving to?
Yeah, for me the difficult part was the router rewriting. So in the previous versions of Traefik, you have been able to declare some services on the fly, but now we have to define the service name here, and for multiple instances is a little bit tricky to define an app folder, for example, to differentiate some application instances running on the server. So I think it's the main difficult part, and after that the documentation is really good to understand the path finding for moving from Traefik 1.7 to Traefik version 2.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds like it could be a challenge. And thank you so much for being loyal and sticking with us and using it. And then the second question, which I really love, is what features do you absolutely love in Traefik version 2.0?
The containers are auto discovered by Traefik without without writing any configuration file. So with Apache, you can manage some. You have to know the container's IP. So here, Traefik do all the job for you. And for my usage, Traefik resolved any issues on my own servers because I'm running many instances of many apps on my server, and Traefik let me more freedom to deploy many applications. So for me, the auto discoverable containers is really good. So,
cool.
okay.
Yeah, cool. I love that. It leads you to more freedom. The auto discovery and to use different tools, I think you said. That's awesome. I'm super stoked on that.
But
Yeah, anything else?
yeah, I've got just I want to say something. So I'm working on caching on Traefik. So it's a feature which is on the roadmap since a couple of years. So I'm trying my best to propose to the community very fast caching and powerful caching on Traefik. And I think with that, Traefik will replace Nginx and Apache, and it should be cool.
Well, that sounds dope, as we say where I come from. And I'm going to put the link to our community chat box, or I'm sorry, our community forum in the chat box. I think most of you are already in there, but all right, Sylvain, that is super cool what you said about caching, and I hope everyone follows you on Twitter or gets in touch with you in some way. And use me if you have any messaging around that you want to follow up with our people, the people who signed up for this with, because the caching sounds amazing. And I think that's it for now. Thank you everyone for bearing with us on the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi gods are on vacation today, but we did it. And so I'm personally grateful on behalf of Containus and Traefik that you spent your time with us. Again, sign up to the YouTube and we will have the YouTube video up shortly. And Sylvain, is there anything else you want to say? I just want to say thank you from us to you for you sharing your time and presenting to us.
Well, thank you to you too, and I hope the community will send you some loving messages, a lot of loving messages, because you are making really good work, and you are really so how can I say, you are very great for community growing, or so you are making your best for making some events or anything else, and it's very cool to know some to know you. So
oh, thank you so much. Well, I like wine and chocolate, so you can send those to me. Merci beaucoup and gracias and dankeschön and all of that to every language we have in the house today. Sheshe also. What else do I know? Shukran. And that is all I got. Okay, so ciao everyone, and we're going to wrap it now. So we'll see you again. Thanks, Sylvain.
Thanks to you.
Bye.
Goodbye.